Hey guys, what's going on, my Jets brothers and my Jets sisters? I appreciate all of you, like always, for being here. Thank you for tuning in to the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. I'm here with you, Harrison Glazer. Appreciate you guys again tuning in on your Monday evenings. I'm excited, man, and I know you guys are excited, and it's because the day is coming. It's finally about here. We're getting there, baby. We've been pushing on, and you guys know, as you can relate with me, this has been a ride. This has been a damn ride. I have whiplash in my neck from the ride that we have been on. And you guys know what I'm talking about. You remember, he who shall not be named, who took our past quarterback that we thought was going to be our guy and made it so he couldn't develop into anything. A lot on Sam, a lot on him. But the ride we've went on. I was big on Darnold for the longest time. He's our guy. You're in his corner. The joke I make with Terrell Owens, the video. He's my quarterback, man. That's my guy. Young, developing, came into the league with a lot of potential. We know what happened. Nothing needs to be said. But everyone, remember, had moved to Trevor Lawrence for the longest time. And you guys remember, I was persistent. I thought Trevor was good, but at the time, I was pointing out that I thought Deshaun Watson had been just as good. He wasn't called generational. I pointed out the stigmas with the generational tag, and I got a lot of heat, got a lot of crap, but I didn't want to move at that time. And I finally, begrudgingly, had moved on to Trevor Lawrence. And then, of course, I think it was like a week or two literally after or about a couple of games, not long, but a couple of games since I'd come to that. And then we lose the Vegas game. We fall out of that position. You guys remember my logic. We talked about it. I didn't get going back to Sam after moving on and realizing, he was part of the problem and we moved on to the best quarterback. But now that we can't have him, we shouldn't move on. I looked at the other prospects and I fell for Zach, man. I fell for Zach Wilson hard from the first day I saw this kid play. And you guys remember, you guys have been there. You've heard me. We're going back to, beginning of December. I started watching him, I think it was around like late November-ish, but beginning of December, I was tweeting about watching him. And one of the first things that always stuck to me was that pocket awareness. And I've told you guys about that. There's a lot of things I look for. Remember we had the podcast. We talked all about, my QB eval, the things I look for versus what others look for, beyond just the throw. But the pocket awareness, man, was just mint. That was what sold me immediately. Yeah, there were designated rollouts, but it was like so fluid and innate. It made the non-designated rollouts look like designated. It was incredible. We've talked about it again, that innate anticipation of, understanding what, a matchup with a tackle versus an edge rusher, how that edge rusher likes to cut or what his favorite move is, or, the odds of him beating that guy. You can see it in his play. And it's, again, the devotion to the game. And you guys remember right when those rumors came out, that the garbage. And, that's what happens. When there's a prospect that teams like, this shit happens all the time. Some report comes out that this guy did this, he did that, he doesn't have this, because they want him to fall. But you remember the second that stuff came out, his coaches, his teammates immediately came forward. You remember, they came forward and said, that's not true. And a lot of people were saying, well, why isn't Zach saying anything? He doesn't have to. The leader doesn't have to say anything. His coaches, his teammates stepping up, that's saying the word. So, and you guys remember I tweeted, from his pro day, I forgot the exact day, but when his pro day was, I think it was the end of March, he, in an interview, had, I tweeted, I don't have it up in front of me right now, but basically, he was saying that, he was completely, devoted to football. Football was his life. That's really all he has. They said, what else you have going on? This is it. It's football. He's devoted and you can see it. Just quick going at it, all the stuff they say negative about him. Oh, well, he wasn't as good in 2019. Why is that a bad thing? So we're saying that he's a studier of the game. He's intimately knowledgeable. He learns so quickly that he changed so much in 1 year. Well, that tells me, the hell's he going to look like in 22? What's this kid going to be like in 2023? So the fact that he is that much better in 1 year is amazing to me. I mean, I saw a lot of the things I looked for in 2019. The pocket presence was there, but the best way of the decision making wasn't at the place it was as I saw in this season. The pocket awareness there, but kind of, not making the right throw or, choosing an easier route when something else is deeper available, not trying to make something happen, got a little more confident in his this season. But again, it's big change. So I'm excited. I know you guys are excited as well. But yeah, pocket awareness has always been my thing with him. I love him. I think he's definitely the guy. I've been big on him since, again, I started watching him. That was, the guy I just above and beyond, like, this is the second best quarterback. And remember, at the time, everyone was saying it was Justin Fields. And I kept saying, no, it's Zach Wilson. You have to watch this kid play. It's him, 100%. So, I mean, nothing is a guarantee. You know that. Nothing is a guarantee. We unfortunately know that. There's a lot of factors, but the factors are lining up right now. I mean, remember when Sam Darnold was here, he only had Joe Douglas in his final year. Remember, we talked about it. I won't go too much into it, how he said he would do right by Sam. I felt he did. He didn't draft him, sent him to the Carolina Panthers. That makes sense. That we talked about it. Remember, it makes sense for him. It's a good deal. Best option for him, the coach. So, but he had Adam Gase, obviously. This is a different situation right now. We have Robert Saleh in the building. Joe Douglas has been building this team. He's going to continue to build this team. And he's going to kill that second draft, man. I'm excited. I can't wait. So I know you guys are ready. We're talking about that draft. Let's get into it. So let's start this mock up. Hope you guys are ready again. I'm excited, man. It's coming. It's crazy. It's here. I'm loving it. Okay, so here we go. Obviously, we're the Jets. And let's get moving. Now, again, I can't see Trevor Lawrence not being the first pick. I've heard stuff, and you guys, you've heard it too. It happens every year. Back in 2018, remember, Sam was supposed to be the guy. He was the unheralded best prospect. He was going to go first. But all that hype on Baker Mayfield, remember, there was a lot of hype on his character, his, rapport with his teammates, and he wound up being the first pick. It was a shocker. So it's not going to be anyone else other than Wilson, but I would say there's a small chance that Zach Wilson could be the first pick. It's small. But again, think of the things going on lately. Trevor Lawrence, and it's not even his fault. I kind of feel bad for the kid in a way. Now that he's, not going to be our guy, I can kind of laugh at it a little bit. You guys remember, you saw that, in the news, he came out and said, that football wasn't his whole life, basically, and, that he has other things going on. He gets validation from other things, which is a good answer. You want a well-rounded person. But everyone attacked him. They were like, football's not your life. What are you talking about? Zach Wilson said that all I do is eat, sleep, and breathe football, which is great for him, but everyone's different. I felt like Lawrence got a lot more heat than he pretty much deserved. But again, all this love now toward Zach Wilson. That's all we've been hearing about. You guys remember back at the end of last season, it was all about, Trevor Lawrence. That was all everyone was talking about. Now it's Zach Wilson, which, again, I loved. Remember, I was talking about him when no one was talking about him, and now he's the topic of conversation, which is great. But that's all anyone's talking about. So there's a chance. I do say small, but there's a chance he could be the first pick. And people freak out about that. I don't know why you'd be freaking out about that. That would be a mistake by the Jacksonville Jaguars because Trevor Lawrence, we remember what he was. Just take your memory and rewind it and go back to, how you were feeling in, October, November. You know what Trevor Lawrence is. Remember, the unheralded best prospect, the kid that, was supposed to, he's the chosen one. He's been great since high school, only lost a handful of games. He's the it. He's the generational guy, as everyone liked to say. I didn't like the title, but the generational guy. So either way, we're getting Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson. That's how you need to look at it. So I'm stoked. So guys, you guys know I want to go Zach Wilson. I don't know if you guys want to do anything else. That's up to you guys. John's excited. It's like, let's go, baby. Only a couple more days. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. It's exciting. It's coming up. And yeah, this is it. We're down to the wire. Jeff, appreciate you, brother. Hey, Harrison, thank you for being here, my man. Appreciate it. Yeah, John, that's the point. Yeah, like I was saying before, it's like whiplash because, at least personally for me, I know a lot of people were on Sam's side like me and then transitioned to Trevor Lawrence because, me, it was begrudgingly. You guys remember, I took you through my whole thought process on Twitter. If you guys remember, follow back to the last couple, at the end of last season. It was begrudgingly because, I still believed in Sam, but I got, okay, they're going to take Trevor with the first pick. Okay, I get that. Like, okay. So that it is what it is, was how I was kind of looking at it. But when we came off Trevor, I felt, difficult going back to Sam. That was it, man. That was it. So yeah, it's been a while. It has been a while. Jenny says, what if we had that first pick? What could have happened? Still Lawrence. So that's the interesting thing, and that's the whole point here, and that's what I was kind of getting at. It's not going to be anyone else, but it could potentially be Zach Wilson. No one else. To get that out of your mind. But there's the possibility, that maybe Zach Wilson, because of all that hype we were just talking about. So it's definitely possible. So, you guys know I want to go Zach Wilson. There's nothing else I really want to do. I don't know if you guys want to go in another direction, but as you know, I don't need to convince myself. Does anyone need convincing? Okay, Zach Wilson it is. Zach Wilson by majority vote. Let's do it. Okay, Zach Wilson, he's our guy, quarterback of the future. And again, guys, those mitts disproved, loves the game, dedicated. Having that innate ability isn't enough. The way he uses it shows he studies the game. It's there. I'm excited. You just have to do it right. And why aren't we going to? Which actually, if I may for a sec, that's an important thing I want to bring up what Jeff said in a sec. We got a trade on the table. But this freaking same old Jets narrative, man, it's bullshit. It's crazy. Okay, because the same people that are saying that are the same people that are acknowledging that Joe Douglas is a great GM, or at least a good GM, that Robert Saleh was a good hire, and the team's going in the right direction. So you can't have it both ways. The difference is we're finally doing it right. It took a long time to get here, and the road to here sucked. Let's be honest. I know it. You guys know it. It's been tough. You got all us Jet fans. We got our Maloxes next to us on the bed table. It's tough being a Jet fan, man. But those days are changing. I felt that when we had Joe. You guys remember right after Joe's first draft, I said he killed it. And everyone's like, you're crazy. It's a day after the draft. I'm like, trust me. After watching Jets GMs for years, guys. We talked about this. Just the board's up. There's about 4 or 5 guys I love with that pick that I really want. I'm excited. I'm dialed in. And they take something out of left field or not even in need. Joe gets it. Robert Saleh, the motivation. I tweeted it earlier today. If you guys didn't check it out, there was actually Joe was on the other day. The Jets haven't tweeted it out yet. So on my feed, I tweeted out 2 videos of Joe in an interview that maybe you guys haven't seen. He said that when Robert came in, the energy was infectious. That's literally what he said. The energy was infectious, and they hoped that it would, get everyone motivated and going, and it has. And they just want to carry that in, carry it onto the field, is what he said. So it's exciting, man. So we have an offer on the table. It's not a bad offer because moving up from 150 to 50 is a pretty big jump. So I don't want to, well, we can see who's on the board, but honestly, that's not the worst offer. That's too much of a drop back. Plus, it's the Patriots, and you guys now. I don't want to give the Patriots better picks. I don't want to give I don't see the Jets trading with the Patriots to begin with. So we can pretend this one's didn't even happen because Joe took the phone and went, "I take calls." Wait, click. So that was that. That one's not a bad option, possibly. Jeff makes a good point. Yeah, look, just quick going back to that, look what the Knicks did overnight. That's exactly the case, and that's what the Jets have done. So again, this narrative doesn't make sense anymore. Don't listen to these idiots. It's the same people telling you that the Jets have made the right decision and they're moving in the right direction, and then they say that it's not going to work. Doesn't make sense. Oh, John makes an excellent point. I agree. AVT is on the board. So Vera Tucker is there, which could happen on draft day. I find it unlikely because he's been hyped out of control. He's great. He's a great offensive lineman, but he's really been hyped lately. So I can't see him falling out of like the top 15, even the top 20, but he's there. And this is interesting. I didn't even notice this. If I can point this out to you guys, you can see this on your board. Look who just went. And I'm telling you guys, we've talked about this. If we can go quickly, and I won't talk too much about Creed because you know everything. I've told you everything. Just because, one person releases something, first of all, I don't buy it 100% because if we talk about 2019 for a second, in 2019, Creed Humphrey over 403 run block snaps, only 8 of them were blown for a 2% rate. That was one of the lowest at the time. Now, run blocking isn't even his specialty. He's a good run blocker. But that's why, you guys, I'd love to, talk too quickly about it. I agree, John. AVT's on the board. So we'll take AVT. But just quick with Humphrey for a second. As we talked about, with those cerebral centers, it's a rare trait to have. That's why he was compared to Nick Mangold. People, are looking at it as, just this one dynamic blocking aspect. But as we've talked about, it's so much more than that. And that's what he possesses. As I've shown you guys with the film, you see it in the tape. He literally says in interviews that he studies film. He's a film junkie. He prides himself on knowing defenses, knowing alignments, knowing shifts. I put out the video with the quote of him saying that. This is the kind of player teams are getting. And he could go before 23, like in this draft. So again, AVT still on the board, which is amazing. But he could go before 23. It's very possible. I think the Steelers would take him. If we don't, that's my personal opinion. I felt that way a while. And I've actually seen Steelers writers saying that they should steal Creed Humphrey if he's available at 24. But remember, guys, and that's it with Creed Humphrey. People say, oh, he's not a first-round prospect. You're crazy. I'm like, crazy like a fox. Because you got to remember here with Creed Humphrey, they say the run blocking. I think his run blocking is good. It's definitely good. But he prides himself in pass blocking. Pass blocking is where he thrives. In 2019, over 379 pass blocking snaps, he only allowed one blown one, for a percentage rate of 0.3. Over his 1,297 pass blocking snaps. So just pass blocking. 1,297 pass blocking snaps. He's allowed 0 sacks at Oklahoma. Absolutely 0. So people comment on his run blocking, that's fine. He can stand to get better as a run blocker. I think he's pretty damn good still, as I've shown, but the pass blocking is where it's at with him. And not only that, that cerebral aspect, as we've talked about, that's vital to any young quarterback, to anybody. We've, as I've said, many have said, try to imagine the Jets without Nick Mangold. I could literally probably say that in 2019, in 2020, yeah. John makes a good point. I think, the Steelers could offer more to move up. Steelers are. I mean, if Creed's still there. So as you guys know, I pointed this out, and I've actually tweeted this as well, if you guys check this out. Back when some people were speculating if AVT was still on the board, my thought was, you guys remember, let's try to get both. I mean, in this situation, Creed's gone already, which again, could happen. I'm telling you guys, any team could take him because cerebral centers are rare. You could take your center, kick him to guard. That's fine. To get a guy like Creed is a rare trait. People are going to want him. So don't listen to this rhetoric. It goes so much deeper. I've shown you guys all the stuff. So if Creed was still on the board, John, I would definitely consider that. And the trade I came up with was the 87th, the 154th, I believe. I have to look up the number. I want to say it's 154. I'll tell you guys right now. Just click on us. Yep, 150. So 86, 154, and 34 should be able to be packaged to get to 24. Now, it seems like a lot, but you have to remember, we have 2 third-round picks, and that's the second third-rounder. And we have 2 fifth-round picks, and that's the second fifth-rounder. So you're giving away one of your 2/3, the later one of your 2 fifths, the later one. You move up from 34 to 24, and you get that guy. I think it's a win-win. So that would be ideal, John. If Joe Douglas does that, it's over, baby. You, me, I'm ready. We're going there. We're building a statue overnight. It is happening because that would be the dream. Everything after that, I probably love the picks, but it's gravy. It's gravy at that point. If the Jets can walk away with Vera Tucker and Humphrey. And again, don't buy this rhetoric. Remember, we talk about with Zach Wilson. Why were all those rumors coming out? They're trying to throw people off the scent. Maybe the same is true with Creed. I mean, it's possible. I don't know. But all I can tell you is there's only one cerebral center available in this draft. And his name is Creed Humphrey. And there's only a handful of them in the NFL to begin with. Period. That's it. So unfortunately, Creed's gone. So I'm taking AVT. Obviously, I don't see the point in trading up for anybody else. I mean, the running backs are there, but I think we can go running back later. So obviously, we take AVT, and that's awesome. That's unfortunately we lose out on Creed Humphrey, which I'm very upset about. But hopefully McGovern can be the guy. I mean, he's not the cerebral guy. We know that. Unfortunately, we know that. That's not an aspect of his game. We saw that last year when the guard struggled. He struggled. There was no makeup or in between. And he's always struggled to pass protection. That's why, again, just going back to Creed for a sec, I was making the joke, crazy as a fox. Creed's a decent run blocker, but an excellent pass blocker. The knock people make on Wyatt Davis is like Vera Tucker, but just not as good a pass blocker. But he's an outstanding run blocker. What are we saying about McGovern? McGovern is a very good run blocker, but weak at pass. See what I'm saying? You got Creed at center, the pass guy and the cerebral guy to help the cues and the alignments of the two guards. And then you have Davis and McGovern on each end that are going to be run blocking maulers. That's a hell of an interior. That's the interior that I have imagined. But getting Vera Tucker is still a win. Vera Tucker is great at both, is the good way to put it. He's graded top of the league in running, in run blocking and pass blocking. So easily that's a win, without a question. Jeff said I was thinking the same thing. And that's what I was joking about. People are like, oh, these guys have these different weaknesses. Well, that's the point. Because again, Creed is that excellent pass blocker. He's a good run blocker. I don't like that stat that PFF put up. I kind of want to check their numbers because as I pointed out in 2019, he was a good run blocker, but he thrives in the pass. And McGovern and Wyatt Davis are outstanding run blockers. But Wyatt Davis is going to get better in the pass. I think McGovern's at his ceiling. That's just me. I think what we saw last year with McGovern, where he had some very bad games and then some good games, I think that's his ceiling. And that's why, again, I want a better center. That's how I felt with it. Like Kevin says, shout out to Kevin, field general. And again, that's a rare trait. So we now have the next pick up on the board. We have a trade. I don't really like it as much. I mean, you get a second next year, but it's a decent drop. You have to remember 34 is basically still a first round pick. Basically everything up to about 34, 35, maybe like 36, 37. Those pretty much could still be first round picks. 48 is not. So even though they offer you the second, let's see who. Tevin Jenkins is still on the board. So the beauty of Tevin Jenkins is he can play guard or tackle. So I like him as a tackle. A lot of people say they don't. I think he did a damn good job against edge rushers while he was with Oklahoma State. So I think he'd be a pretty good tackle. But he can also play guard. So if you got Vera Tucker and Jenkins, ooh. I mean, that's what I kind of want to do right now. Let's see who else is available for a second. Unless the unanimous are saying you guys want to go with Tevin, which I can get. Again, I can get behind that, but let's see what we got. So we look at the offense. Javonte Williams is on the board. Just throwing that out. I mean, I still think it's too early to go running back. Still too early in my opinion. But Javonte is a special talent. I wouldn't take Terrace Marshall here. I mean, he's an excellent receiver option. I wouldn't do it. I'd wait. At tight end, a lot of people really like Hunter Long, but I honestly think Brevin Jordan is really good too. So I wouldn't, still way too high for me at tight end. Again, Tevin is on the board. Wyatt Davis is still on the board too. So that's a tough one. Wyatt Davis is the more natural guard. So here's who the center. Quinn Mertz is on the board. So I pointed out, replacing McGovern because McGovern is an excellent run blocker. Not taking that away from him. He is a mauler in the run game, but he struggles in pass block. He struggles to pick up assignments, and he struggles to pick up the slack of his guards. I literally, and I've shown you guys, I've seen Creed Humphrey block two people. I've seen the man watch his guard miss the assignment and go, okay, forget it. I got this. So it's a different level. So Minertz, and I definitely think I pronounced his name wrong, Minertz would be a very good option here, or possibly Landon Dickerson. So I would probably go offensive line because I really like the guys on the board. For you guys, the question is, would you want to go with Minertz? Would you want to go with Dickerson? Would you want to go with Wyatt Davis? Or would you want to go with Tevin Jenkins? Now, all four of those guys are basically first-round talents. That's a hell of a problem to have. Guys, if we walk away, oh man, I'm praying right now. If you guys want to pray with me here for a second. If we walk away with Zach Wilson, and then we get Vera Tucker at 23, and then we get to choose at 34 between Dickerson, Menertz, Davis, and Jenkins. That's a hell of a scenario, man. That is it. That is the dream. And like Brad says, man, protect the kid, build the wall. John's like he's got a nasty streak to him, which is 100% true. But this is a beautiful situation to have now, guys. Think about this. Look at what we've done. We have our quarterback of the future. Vera Tucker fell to 23. For those of you who just came in, Creed Humphrey went 22. He didn't even make it to 24. He went before the Jets pick, but Vera Tucker was there. So we got Vera Tucker, and now we get to choose between those four guys. Man, that's a great option. So I'll leave it up to you guys. They're all good options. Tevin Jenkins, Wyatt Davis, Quinn Menertz, or Landon Dickerson. They're all really good options. Brad says Davis. Davis is the most natural guard of all of them. We want to move Tevin to guard, but he's played tackle his whole career. Wyatt Davis is a natural guard, not just a natural guard. You guys remember I pointed it out. People have forgotten that for the majority of the college football season, it wasn't just Vera Tucker. It was Vera Tucker and Wyatt Davis consecutively as the best guards in this draft. They were talking about both of them equally. Then Wyatt Davis kind of just fell out in the minds of people because people noticed that, Vera Tucker is the better pass blocker of the two. And they forgot about Wyatt Davis. But Wyatt Davis is fantastic in his own right. You could easily argue he's probably one of the best guards in this draft. So it seems like, Brad says we should go Davis. I'm kind of with him. I don't know if anybody else feels a little differently. Again, the other options are good. The Jets are high on Tevin Jenkins. And again, if you want to go center, Dickerson, Menertz, those are all great options. I'm hoping maybe Menertz or Dickerson are available next. That's up to you guys. You guys know I love offensive line. If you guys want to go 3 offensive line in a row, I won't stop you. Granted, I think we should probably address other positions, but I won't stop you. So let's take Wyatt Davis. There we go. Tevin Jenkins and me. Beautiful. Makes sense. Tevin, Quinn right off the board. I'm not a fan of Leatherwood. I am not a fan of Alex Leatherwood at all. Buyer beware. Stay away from that kid. Okay, so we're coming back up at 66. Yep. And Kevin makes a good point. I agree. I think we do need a center. So the question here would be, I think Landon Dickerson went. Wait, did he not? Okay, Landon Dickerson is still on the board, and Landon Dickerson is ranked 59. So it would be 3 offensive linemen in a row. It would definitely be 3 offensive linemen in a row. But we would have gotten Vera Tucker and Wyatt Davis, and then a center. I mean, at this point, I don't like McGovern at center. I'll be honest. You guys know that. I'm not the biggest fan of McGovern at center. But we did just take 2 guards. I mean, we just got Vera Tucker and Wyatt Davis, which beautifully enough, remember, think about what I was just saying. The conversation was these are the 2 best guards for the majority of the college football season. These were the 2 best guards in the league. And then this guy jumped up. We got them both. So we just nailed it. McGovern obviously isn't that cerebral center, but he's got 2 hell of a bookends next to him right now. Like he's got 2 really good bookends in Vera Tucker and Davis. So if McGovern can't succeed now, yeah, Kev's saying 3 O-line in a row is too many. Yeah, if he can't succeed now, then that would be it. If he can't succeed with Vera Tucker and Davis at the side of him, then that's it, baby. Then it's time to call the NFL career over. So McGovern should be able to find success at center if he's got Davis and Vera Tucker on both guards, because now he doesn't have to worry about anything else except making his blocks. So John says counter that Houston offer with this year's 6th or 7th. Let's take a look here. So it is only one drop, and I was going to point that out. Good catch, John. I was going to come back to that. It's only a one pick drop. So yeah, let's counter, and instead of it being next year's 7th, let's make it. Let's be a little greedy and try for 212. See what happens. Okay, declined. Let's try 233. Accepted. Okay. Excellent, John. Nice. Well done, man. Well done. Kudos to John, because that was an excellent move. Great. And that's what Joe Douglas is going to do, man. I mean, Joe Douglas, he's the ninja here. He's got this down. He's ready. So we saw it with Denzel Mims. Remember, Denzel Mims was supposed to be a first-round pick, which is why so many people are saying Denzel Mims can't be a wide receiver 1. How do you know that? The kid played 1 year. He was hurt throughout that year. He was supposed to be a first-round pick. He did just as good as guys like Allen Robinson did in their first years. You don't know. He could be something great. We really don't know yet. I'm hoping he is, man. I love Mims. You guys, you've seen it. Some of those catches Mims makes are just highlight reel catches. Corey Davis makes them, and guess what? Keelan Cole makes them too. He makes some of those highlight reel catches. So it's exciting. Add Jamison Crowder into that mix. I've said it before, say it again. Our wide receiver core is better than people are giving them credit for. Joe Douglas put together a nice little combo there of those guys. So we just traded back one pick. I wouldn't trade back again. So we picked up an extra 7th, which is great. That's awesome. So we could look at who's on the board. Now, exactly. Like Jeff says. Jeff nailed it, man. That's exactly it. Mims played for Gase. Anyone that played for Gase obviously didn't reach anything near their potential. So that means anyone that was good under Gase, like Franklin Myers, has the potential to be really fantastic, which is really awesome. Because everyone else was failing in that system. Left, right, forward, and back. So Landon Dickerson just went the pick before, which is funny. So we talked about getting a center. We traded with the Texans. That's the guy they got. The Texans took Landon Dickerson. So, which makes sense. Again, he's one of the better run blocking centers in this draft. So definitely without question. So, yep, and Brad agrees. Yep, we're not making trades with the Patriots. It's not happening. We're not doing that. We're not making those trades. Okay, so forget that. I pointed this out before. If you guys didn't see it, I won't tell you the whole thing now, but I had a take if you guys want to check it out on my channel. If you guys check out the channel right before this, I was saying that a lot of us talk about the cornerback position, but we're actually a lot better off at corner than people realize. Our really, really big issue is linebacker. Just a quick little thing on it. CJ Mosley is basically still a question mark. We're hoping he's going to be great, but it is a question mark. He hasn't played in 2 years. Jarrad Davis was a flyer. Remember, he was a former first-round pick, but he didn't do anything in his first 4 years. If we're going by what he did last year, that's not that good. I mean, that's not really starting quality of a 4-3 outside linebacker. I'm hoping he doesn't become Pierre Desir, but that situation is kind of the same where, you give him a flyer and you hope he's good. And if he's not good, you let him go and you wash your hands of the situation. So we really need linebacker. That's a big problem because at cornerback, just last year, Bryce Hall was pretty close to CB1 quality. As a rookie, he played excellent, could potentially be a CB1 down the road, which is awesome. And Javelin Guidry. So again, I'm not going to take you guys through the whole thing. If you want to check it out, look at my feed. I did a 8-minute video on the YouTube channel where I talked about all that, but it makes sense. Linebacker is such a bigger need because if Jarrad Davis doesn't pan out, Brad says, show the board. Yep. I agree, man. Yep. Let me show you guys that board. But so like Jeff says, I like Hall a lot. Is Austin really a CB2? Basically, the way I look at it is, we're quickly, I won't go too much into it because, again, you guys want to check it out. But for the corner, for Bryce Hall, Hall was great last year. Hall was fantastic. He could easily be a CB1. He was only a rookie. Bless Austin, we're hoping can be a CB2. He struggled last year, but that was in Greg Williams' system. And he used him out of his strengths. He used him in more of a zone scheme, which is kind of what we're going to be using this year. But again, hopefully if they can use him to his strengths, Bless Austin is hoping to have a bounce back 3rd year. But again, we also have Guidry, who I think is going to be fantastic in the slot. The example I gave was, Brian Poole was one of the best slot corners in the league. The last 2 years, he's been one of the best ones. Then Guidry, he gets hurt. Guidry comes in. I don't notice a beat. You don't notice a difference because Guidry was almost the same as him in coverage. Poole had a 77 PFF rating in coverage last year, and Guidry had a 73 point something. Guidry graded right below him as an undrafted guy who runs a 4.29 40. Again, I look at linebacker. Davis is a flyer. Everyone's thinking, we have something in Jarrad Davis. What we should be thinking is we hope we have something in Jarrad Davis. Remember, if we're going again by last year, Bryce Hall last year was a borderline CB1. Jarrad Davis last year kind of didn't deserve to be a starter. He hasn't been that good the last 4 years. So again, we're hoping he was in a bad system. He couldn't figure it out. He's going to unlock it under Robert Saleh because he's fast and he's super strong. He hits hard. Maybe he'll figure it out, but he may not. And CJ Mosley hasn't played in 2 years. The kid's almost 30 years old, and he hasn't played in 2 years. I'm hoping, like you guys all, he hops right back in, he hops right back in, just back in his 2019 form, ready to go, just at that level, like he never missed anything, the leader, the awesome player we thought. But we don't know that. So other than that, the only outside linebacker left is Blake Cashman. And Blake Cashman has never played a full season. Blake Cashman, even in college, NFL, never played a full season. So linebacker, I've started to notice, and again, check out the take, guys, it's a bigger need than cornerback. So I'm really thinking we got to look at linebacker here. I'm upset Nick Bolton's off the board. Just curious where he went. He went at 62. So if I'm Joe Douglas and I know that Green Bay might take Nick Bolton, I might trade up for him. And the example I give in the take I was talking about, check it out, guys. I talk about all the traits on him, but he could also be a Mike linebacker. He could play middle. If there's a problem with Mosley, God forbid, he could shift in. So I do like Chaz Surratt, but this is a little high to take him. What we could do, because I was pointing out at linebacker, we're massively depleted. CJ Mosley, even if he's great, if Jarrad Davis is a question mark, Cashman can't stay healthy, we could use 2 guys. I'd recommend possibly, getting Chaz Surratt later and then doubling down and getting Charles Snowden. But if we look at the best player here, if you guys want to go corner, Aaron Robinson is still on the board. Aaron Robinson's an interesting story because I had him, you guys can check it out, in a mock back in November, back when I finally accepted Trevor Lawrence. It was like a week into the Trevor Lawrence acceptance. And I'd done a mock, and I had him in the 5th round. At that point, he wasn't considered as high a prospect, but I liked what I saw in him. He matches everything. He's got the right height, physical ability. He plays press. He's good in coverage. He's sticky in coverage. He's got a good size. He's everything you would want in an outside corner. And he's moved up boards. A lot of people say Robinson could be CB1, at the next level. Easily. So like Jeff said, Cashman can't stay on the field. And that's my point. Again, we all look at all the mocks we've seen. If it's not offensive lineman at 23 and 34, it's a cornerback. You're seeing a corner up there at that high. And I would prefer, if a guy like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is available, that's the dream. That kid is just unbelievable. Love that kid. Easily the best linebacker in this draft. Easily. Love him. I think he's better than Parsons, in my opinion. Definitely the best one. But if you take out Cashman because he can't stay healthy, Davis is a flyer, even CJ Mosley's a question mark. At corner, at least we have Hall. I mean, at least we have Austin in the waivers. And again, I did the whole take on it. I talk about Lamar Jackson. Last year, Lamar Jackson, the undrafted corner, had the lowest missed tackle rate on our whole team. He wasn't great, but he could definitely play. So I feel like linebackers are a huge need of ours right now. I don't like the way the picks line up. If we look at best available right now, again, Aaron Robinson is there. So Aaron Robinson has been projected as a possible first-round pick. And the fact that he's still on the board is pretty impressive. So that could be a really good option. Kev says, who's the best available D left? It would be that guy because we're not going D tackle. Again, it's going to be Aaron Robinson. So again, like I was pointing out with Robinson, he's got everything you look for. I thought he was like a gem of mine that I found the way it came out. Because again, I thought he was supposed to be like a 4th, 5th round pick back in November. Now he shot up boards up to being a possible 1st round pick. I would be shocked if he's not gone in the 2nd. The fact that he's still available now is crazy. So what I think would be a good option right now, if you guys would agree, again, I feel like linebacker's a bigger need, but it's amazing that Robinson's still on the board. I would go Robinson now, and then possibly Chaz Surratt if he's still on the board with the next pick. Would be a good option to go. But if we look at who else is available quick, edge rusher, I'm not a huge fan of Tryon. A lot of people love him. He's a one-year wonder to me. He only did what he did in 1 year. I would prefer a guy like Rashad Weaver, who consistently over multiple years was putting up 7-8 sacks. Patrick Jones, I think, is massively underrated. I think Patrick Jones is better than Rashad Weaver. So honestly, Patrick Jones should be up here. So that's an option if you want to go edge. But I think Aaron Robinson might be the best option here. That's definitely my opinion. So I don't know what you guys think. You guys have a direction or idea you want to go in? I'm all ears. Anyone you want to ask about? Anyone you want to see? Okay. So, yep. So what I would do is I would take, again, Robinson here because he's at 67, that's not just a great value pick. He was supposed to be a potential 1st rounder, they're saying now. I would say minimum 2nd. This is what everything you want in outside CB. I don't know if they give you measurables on here. They don't, but I think he's about 6'1", 194, 195, but he's fast, he's quick, very sticky in coverage, good in man and zone. He checks every box. I was blown away that he was such a late pick back then. Now he's not considered as late a pick. So we take Aaron Robinson there, and then what I would do is I'm going linebacker with the next pick. That's what I would do. Okay, so we're making our way through, moving our way through the board here. We're coming up at 86. That's not a bad trade. I mean, Chaz Surratt is rated in the 100 range. So he's probably going to go late 90s. Sorry, early 90s, I would say, to around like late 110s. That's probably Chaz Surratt's range. With this one, you pick up a 126. So with this one, we're picking up the 126th pick. That's not a bad trade. I don't know if you guys would want to do that. That's up to you. What do you guys think? Would you guys want to do that trade? Because it's not a bad one. Again, you're dropping about 14 spots, but you're picking up the 126th, and you're giving away next year's 7th. So that's a lot more picks in this draft. So that may not be a bad trade. And as Kevin points out, shout out to Kev. Again, as I always tell you guys, feel free to comment in. Anything I'm saying, you can question it. Tell me a guy you like, feel free. Be like, no, I like this guy. I can tell you about him. We could talk about him a little bit. But Kev says, you make a valid point with the linebacker. I recommend it, guys. It was a longer take I did. I talked in more detail about it. But again, the biggest issue with me is Jarrad Davis. So many people are saying we only need one linebacker because we have Jarrad Davis. But Jarrad Davis was signed as a flyer for a reason. He didn't pan out with the Detroit Lions. He was the 22nd overall pick. He was supposed to be great, and he wasn't even close. In fact, I think like his PFF grade of like 61, I think was the highest of his 4-year career. So he hasn't translated at all. We're hoping that changes, but it's a hope. It's nothing more than a hope. So at most, we have CJ Mosley. And again, I still feel like that's up in arms because the guy's almost 30 years old and he hasn't played in 2 years. So I'm with you guys. Yeah, so we need 2 linebackers. I feel like at minimum we have to get 2, and I'm going with guys I like as coverage linebackers. So again, guys like Surratt, Snowden is a late sleeper option. So Jeff says make the trade. John says, I like the trade. I like it too. I think it's a very good trade because you're dropping 14, but you're picking up 126. So that's a good trade. So let's do it. Cross our fingers. Snowden doesn't go. I'm sorry, that Surratt doesn't go off the board. And I love that combination, man. Chaz Surratt and Charles Snowden could potentially be day one starters. Oh, we got one more pick. Okay, I wouldn't trade back again. That's pushing it if you ask me. Let's see what the other one is. Let's see where he's rated. He's rated at 106. I wouldn't do it. I would take Surratt here. So I don't know what you guys think, but I'm ready to take Chaz Surratt. So yeah, Gary says what linebackers on the board. And again, that's the biggest need. I'm telling you guys. Next to offensive line, we thought it was cornerback. But that was my thing today. I kind of like had an epiphany. I realized that it's not cornerback. It's linebacker. Linebacker is that problem. So linebackers that are on the board, I like Surratt with this pick. I think Surratt would be a phenomenal pick. And then I'd potentially take somebody else with the next pick and then come back and get Snowden later. So what do you guys think about taking Surratt? John's like, yeah, and I agree, man. You got to take him here. Easy option. Yeah. So you take Chaz Surratt, and now easily you have a guy that is a drop back coverage linebacker, really a great off-the-ball linebacker is what you just took. A great off-the-ball linebacker. So we could use another one. I really like Charles Snowden. This is probably too early to take him. Let's see how the board looks. Dwayne Eskridge would be a good option. So if you guys wanted to get a wide receiver, Dwayne Eskridge is interesting because, as I've told you guys, with Kadarius Toney, I feel like he's going to be one of the best slot receivers in the NFL. One of the best in short notice. But he's not strong enough, his upper body. He doesn't have the physicality to create separation on the outside. He's designated to be a slot guy. Eskridge is like a T.Y. Hilton, and I've compared him to him before because like T.Y. Hilton, he's a smaller guy at 5'9", 190, but he's built. He's pound for pound ripped. Eskridge can play on the outside. He's a smaller guy that can create separation. Again, think of him like a T.Y. Hilton. If we're going to go running back, I think this is too early. There's a lot of guys I like that are much later on. At tight end at this point, if we're going to go with a receiving option, I kind of like Trey McKitty. But McKitty, again, way too high to take him. If we look at, again, I say we take possibly Snowden later on. We haven't taken a corner yet. So Adebo is still on the board. That wouldn't be a bad option. We could definitely go with Paulson Adebo. I really like, later on, Rodarius Williams. I like St-Juste a lot with his potential. St-Juste has a lot to work on, but it's there in spades. He's a big guy at 6'3", almost like 2'6", 208, and he's very physical. He just has to work on coverage is what he needs to work on. But all the traits are there. Yep. Like James says, Adebo is there. We could definitely use the help. So I think that would be a good way to go. One thing I like about Adebo, like they point out here, 3-year starter, performed brilliantly, led the nation 24 breakups. The nice thing, he's got good body size to him. He would definitely be a good option. So Adebo would be a good option here. So let's take Adebo. We got our corner. And again, back to that take I was telling you guys about, with quarterback. One thing I said in the video is if we get one really good, excellent outside corner, we're fine. Because Bryce Hall, on his worst days, looks like a CB2. So we'll take a look at that in a sec. But if you get one good corner, one outside solid corner, we're set. We have Hall, the rookie, and then Guidry in the slot. We need to get a linebacker. We need to. They're major, major needs of ours. So this one's not a bad trade. We're only moving back 5 spots. Yeah, we're only moving back 5 spots, but we're jumping up from 233 to 171. So that's not a bad pick. I mean, we're kind of in the range where we can miss out on Snowden. We're getting there. We're getting to that missing out on Snowden range. It's approaching us. So what do you guys think about taking that trade? Because, again, the way I would look at it is Snowden is ranked in, I believe, about the 150 range here. I'd put him more about here. I'd put him more in the 120, 130 range. So especially because, a lot of positive stuff has come out on him more lately. So It is a good trade. I agree, John. It is a really good trade because you're only going back 5 spots, and it is a big jump. That is a huge jump. You're jumping 30 something picks. You're literally 60. I'm sorry, I can't count. You're literally jumping 60 something picks. So let's cross our fingers and just hope that Snowden is still there. And okay, he is. But okay, so we have another offer on the board. And as you guys know, I'm big with collecting more picks, especially when you're this late in the draft. When you're this late in the draft, there's a lot of quality guys I've liked. I've told you guys about offensive linemen I like, tackles and guards I like here. There's tight ends, there's edge rushers, there's everything. There's quality at the end of this draft. Having a lot of picks is definitely a good thing. So Gary says you can get Snowden at 131. You can. But here's the $1 million question now. Can we get Snowden at 136? Because if we're willing to drop 5 more picks, we get 191. We get a free pick out of it, 191. And there is a lot of good late talent in this draft. So that's the $1 million question right now. Do you guys want to? Yeah. John says, let's look at the big board. Let's take a look. So let's go by top talent available. Trey Sermon is on the board. I mean, personally, I think I mentioned to you guys before. Herbert's gone. Never mind. I was going to tell you guys that I'm a huge Khalif Herbert fan. But I guess that, let's see. Did I pass him? Did we go past Khalif? Not sure where he is, but there he is. Khalil Herbert. I'm a big fan of that kid. So he went 124. You could go Sermon if you wanted to go with a running back. That's definitely an option. I potentially feel like, you can get a guy like Kylan Hill later on. I really like Kylan Hill a lot, even Elijah Mitchell. So I think that you could definitely do. Just pardon me one sec, guys. The computer is dying, so I just have to plug that in. Otherwise, we won't be here much longer. Okay. Okay, we are good to go. Problem averted. We're not going to die. Oh, wait a minute. We just might. Hold on one sec, guys. For some reason, it is not charging. That is my apologies. Okay, my bad, guys. We're charging now. My apologies. We're good to go. We're plugged in. Okay, so now that we're not going to die and we got the juice, James says take the trade. It's not a bad trade. It really isn't at all, because if we go back and look at it, we're dropping 5 picks and we're gaining 191. That's a free pick right there. The question is Snowden going to be available? We're definitely at the point where he may not be. We're definitely getting to that point. So it's an interesting option. Gary says, you should be able to get him a 136. We should be able to. Let's give it a shot. Let's get the free pick and let's cross our fingers. Okay, Anthony Schwartz went off the board. That's a good wide receiver option. Okay, he's still there. So now's the perfect time to get him. There's no trades on the board. As you guys know, we need linebackers. A lot of potential in this kid. Boom. We just got Charles Snowden. And we've been collecting picks, guys. Take a look at this. This is beautiful now. And this is the beauty. I've told you guys. So At this point, this is like the cutoff. We shouldn't be trading back really much, unless there's a great offer like we got. We got a great offer, but really once we get to this range, this is a beautiful time to start trading back because look what we've done. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We still have 6 more picks, guys. 6. And we talked about how we have problems. We still got 2 linebackers and we still have 6 picks left. So this is beautiful. This is living the dream right now, guys. So let's see. Let's resume the draft. Let this baby keep going. Okay, we have another trade on the board. We have another trade, ladies and gentlemen. So to remind, we have 6 more picks already, which is amazing. We've taken Wilson, AVT, and Davis, the 2 best guards in the draft. The unequivocal best guard, and almost basically just as good. We have a CB1. Aaron Robinson is potentially a first-round pick. Between Shaz Surratt and Snowden, we have some linebacker talent, and we got Paulson Adebo as well. So we got these many picks left, guys. I'm thinking now might be the time for some positional. So let's take a look. Now might be the time, we can take a look and see best available on the board altogether. But let's look at what we got. Some say it's a little high for Kylan Hill here, but I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't think it's a bad pick. At wide receiver, same thing. There's a lot of guys I like later. Up to you guys. How about that? Let's go with you guys. Who do you like? So who would you guys like with this pick? So Jeff says, at this point, it's about need and depth. So if we look at, again, what we've gotten so far, we got the 2 best guards in this freaking draft. We walked away with Vera Tucker and Davis. We could go with an offensive lineman, maybe get a late round center, something like that. But we're looking really good right now. James says kicker. I agree, man. We're definitely going to get a kicker, but we'll do that later on. He points out, laugh out loud. Yeah, man, we're going to get a kicker, but we're going to do that later on. But we're definitely getting one. We have to get one. Because as you guys know, we have seen firsthand what it's like to not have good kicking. I don't even want to think of Vedvik. You guys remember what it was like when Vedvik was there? The whole, carousel of kickers between Bertollet and everybody, all of them. So we need a kicker. We haven't had a consistent, solid kicker since Nick Folk. That was the last time a decade ago when we had a consistent, solid kicker. So at this point, if we're going to go with a tight end, Morris isn't a bad option here. I do like Morris, if you guys don't know a little bit about him. 3-year starter. Fluid release off the line, extends his hands, looks for the ball. He's going to be more of a consistent pass catcher, fluid tight end, makes a lot of plays downfield. I've seen him a little bit, not going to be honest. I haven't seen him a lot, but I do like in what I see in him. So Morris could be an option. I like McKitty a lot. I really do like McKitty. So I think McKitty is not that bad a reach here. If you want to go with tight end, at wide receiver, you have Shi Smith. Shi Smith isn't a bad pick by any means. I would rather wait maybe a little bit later. I like Tamorrion Terry a lot. Dax Milne, I think, is an underappreciated pick. I mean, Zach Wilson, some of his best catches were to Dax Milne. So getting him late, not now, but getting Dax Milne at like 190-something, 220-something could be a really good move. So James mentions fullback. Here's the interesting option with that. I think we're pretty good at blocking right now, and I think that's why Joe Douglas brought in Tyler Kroft. Tyler Kroft is a pretty damn good blocking tight end. He is an above-average blocking tight end. He'll make 1 or 2 good catches every game, but he's a blocker. Same thing with Trevon Wesco. Between Wesco and Kroft, we have 2 really good blocking tight ends. We really need a receiving tight end because Chris Herndon, whether we want to accept it or not, is a question mark. He had a really good rookie season, didn't do much his second. Was hurt his second year, didn't do much of anything last year. When he got the opportunity, he did well. I think I pointed out to you guys on Twitter, toward the end of last season, his catch percentages were high. But is that going to carry over? So we could use a receiving like tight end. That's why I mentioned guys like Quinn Morris as well as Trey McKitty could be two good receiving options. At wide receiver, again, Shi Smith isn't a bad option here. But if we just look at the linemen for a second, Aaron Banks is still on the board. Okay, we have two guards now, though. That's the thing, and neither one are really a center. So Vera Tucker and Davis, neither one is really suited to play center. So Aaron Banks really isn't a good pick here. I like Aaron Banks if we need a guard here. If we need an offensive lineman here, I like him. But at center, I don't hate Drake Jackson. I do like him, but I don't see the trades that I love in centers. One offensive tackle I really like is Cole Van Lanen. I've definitely told you guys about him before. John points out, Nick Eubanks. That would be a good option too. I'm not the hugest fan of Eubanks. Because again, they talk about, athletic tight end, poor senior campaign. Go to the quick analysis. He looks like he's developing into a top pick, but struggled last season. The way I felt with Eubanks is I like what I see in him, but he struggled. So I would probably take Morris if it was me. I would take Morris or McKitty, but Eubanks is definitely an option. So we do need a tight end. We definitely need a tight end. So I would say if you guys want to go with Morris, Eubanks, or McKitty, that would be a good pick here at 146. So Jeff says, who's left at edge? Let's take a look, because that's a good question, man. Who's left at edge? I do like Victor. I don't pronounce his last name right, so we're going to go with Victor. I like Victor. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a good edge rusher. I think he's very strong and very solid, and he's a very bull rusher. I like that. I think he could complement Lawson nicely. He's the same thing I like about Kwity Paye. He's athletic, but he's very, very strong. So that wouldn't be a bad option here. I know some people like Shaka Toney, but I do like Victor if we were to go in that option. We did take two linebackers already. If we were going to go with a sleeper linebacker later in the draft, just to throw out a couple of names, I do like KJ Britt isn't a bad option. That could be an interesting sleeper right there. Justin Hilliard could be an interesting sleeper pick. If we wanted to go with another corner, Darius Williams is still on the board. St. Juste is still on the board. But it seems like you guys definitely wanted to go tight end because John was saying things like Eubanks. So my question for you guys would be would you want to go tight end here? Because we could definitely go tight end. That is a major need of ours. I do like Morris a little bit more. I mean, I feel like Morris is a little bit more of a polished receiver, is what I would say with him. Eubanks is probably the better blocker out of the two, is a good way to look at it. But Trey McKitty, if I bring up McKitty for a second, he's considered one of the better tight ends in this draft. Kitty possesses the size, growth potential, and football skill to get late round consideration and make a roster. He's got a lot of potential. Trey McKitty has a lot of potential. A lot of people like him. So that's up to you guys. Whatever you guys think, a lot of different options to go here. We could go tight end. So we could go with, one of those three guys. We could go with either Morris, Eubanks, or McKitty. Morris is probably the better pick here for a receiving option. Eubanks has potential, but again, struggled a lot last year. McKitty, I feel like, is the biggest rustling, like what he could be, but a lot of people like him. I think even Bucky Brooks had Trey McKitty in his top 5 tight ends. I think he even had him up there because a lot of people are very high on McKitty. A lot of people feel, and I've seen it myself, that I feel like there's a lot of potential there, but we really haven't seen it. So like Jeff says, if I knew what Zuniga was, I wouldn't even ask about edge. Grab the kid from Bowling Green. The way I've pointed out with you guys, I'm not big on Zuniga. I never was. You guys remember at the end of last draft, consistently I've said, Joe Douglas nailed it. He hit a home run, but there were 2 picks. 2 picks I weren't a fan of. And those 2 picks were LaMichael Perine, and one of them was Zuniga. Zuniga, I didn't hate the pick. He wasn't a bad pick. He was just way too high. Zuniga, didn't produce a lot in college. He was hurt often, but when he played, he flashed. He had a lot of potential. So he was drafted on athletic talent and potential alone. I didn't like him in the third round. There were guys like wide receiver Braylon Edwards. There were guys I liked there more with the pick. So Brian Edwards, I'm going back in time. Brian Edwards. So I just felt that it was too early, in my opinion, for him. So like James says, later rounds equals late bloomers, and that's the point. Guys we're getting here, they're not going to be plug and play day one guys. Most likely. I mean, they may be, but most likely they're not going to be. These are going to be guys that can develop into something, and that's the point in collecting more picks. The more late round picks you have, the more chance you have to hit on these late round gems. So you guys mentioned tight end. You guys mentioned liking it. I'm thinking one of the better picks here is Morris. And again, the reason I like him here is he's a 3-year starter. He's very fluid, like they say, but I like his receiving ability. That's what I'm a fan of with him. So let's do that. Let's take Quinnen Morris. And we still got plenty of picks left, guys. Still plenty of picks on the board because we traded back. We have another trade offer. And ladies and gentlemen, that's not a bad one. That's not a bad trade offer either. We're collecting more picks. So we're moving back about 7. Yep. We're moving back 7 picks, but we're picking up 236. That's not bad. At this point in the draft, like you guys pointed out, there's a lot of talent you can go through. Nobody's, there's no one here that was supposed to, be like a 3rd round guy that didn't go. So that's not a bad trade. That's not a bad trade at all. I don't know if you guys want to take it because, again, you're moving back 7 spots and you're picking up 236. You're just getting 236. So that could be a really good way to go. I don't know what you guys think. If you guys want to do that, if you don't want to do that, up to you guys. But again, as you've noticed with this draft, we've been killing it, guys. We have a lot of late round picks, and we did great in those first rounds. Man, those first rounds alone. I mean, Wilson, Vera Tucker, and Davis, man, that is some stuff. And again, McGovern, he's not that cerebral center. He's not the best pass blocker. He's got Vera Tucker and Davis next to him. It's going to work now. It should work now. So I think it's not a bad pick. We're only moving back a couple and we're gaining another. So I say do it. We're getting more picks. Why not? Again, at this point in the draft, like we said, there are no short thing guys. Well, we've traded back a lot at this point. Let's see what we got. We still have a lot of picks left. So I want to maybe trade back again. And again, guys, this is the beauty of it. We just took another player and we still have 6 picks. We still have 6 picks. So what we can do here, we're weak at tight end. Tight end is a weakness of ours. So I would say let's double down. Let's either get Eubanks or McKitty. What do you guys think? So James says, who's the best player available now? If we take a look at that, I'm not the hugest fan of Cade Johnson. He's got a lot of potential. I like Rodarius Williams here. If you guys want to go with a corner, Rodarius Williams is excellent value here. I view him as a potential, outside starter on day one, with CB2 potential. So that's really exciting. So Rodarius Williams is a 6'1" guy. He's about 194 pounds, I would say. He could definitely be an outside starting corner. He's excellent in press coverage, better in zone than man, but he is a good cover corner. He could be a really good option here. So James says, Williams, let's do it. Let's take Rodarius. And that's a great pick. So we still have 5 more. This is beautiful, guys. I mean, Cole Van Lanen is off the board, which is a little bit of a shame. Eubanks just went off the board. So because Eubanks just went off the board, I'm thinking maybe if we look at best available, we are pretty set at offensive guard, but David Moore isn't a bad pick. If a sleeper guard option, he is a good one. If you guys wanted to go running back, Kylan Hill would be a good pick here. A lot of people like Chuba Howard, but I like Kylan Hill a lot more. I think Kylan Hill is a much more all-around back. He's very quick, very elusive, good pass catcher. not the best power back, but he's not bad either. He can bowl and run through the tackles. So I do like Kylan Hill a lot. Elijah Mitchell is also a very good pick too. So if you guys wanted to go with a running back here, we could either take Hubbard, Hill, or Mitchell would be excellent picks. If we want to go with a wide receiver here, because we haven't taken a wide receiver yet, Sage Surratt or Daz Newsome. I like Daz Newsome a little bit more than Surratt. I feel like Surratt might wind up in the NFL being more of a one-trick pony, more of, just like a deep, not a deep threat, sorry, more of like, a physical wide receiver that's going to make, contested catches, maybe a red zone threat. I feel like we have that in Lawrence Cager already. I like Daz Newsome. I think Daz Newsome has a lot of potential. I also really like Tamorrion Terry. I've told you guys this before. Don't worry about ranking. Ranking doesn't mean anything. These guys ranked at 220, 214, 228 here. They could be going at 160, 170 because teams value them high. So Tamorrion Terry could be a really good wide receiver option, or even Jonathan Adams. So James points out Javen Hawkins. Let's take a look. We'll go back at, there we are. We weren't at the top. He's an interesting option. Javen Hawkins is definitely an interesting option. I personally like Kylan. I think Kylan Hill is kind of underrated. I think Kylan Hill at this point, I think he should potentially be at worst a 5th round pick. Worst. So he's got a lot of potential. But yeah, it depends what you guys like. So again, do you guys want to do? Let's do it. You want to go Javen Hawkins? Let's do it. Let's take Hawkins here. Okay. So we took Hawkins. We got a running back. Now we got one, and that's great, man. We got a running back. Cameron Bynum was on the board. I do like Bynum a lot. I do like Bynum out of California. Okay, so we are back on the board. We got no trades, but we still have 4 more picks. How crazy is this, guys? We still have 4 more picks, and that's the beauty of it. John makes a good point. Could take Maneta Groom for the 2022 season. That's what these picks are for. These picks are late round picks, guys that, you could be looking at future potential for, where you like, an aspect of them, but you feel like they have something they need to work on. So let's close that. We go here. Let's see who we've got available. So St. Juste is on the board. That's a good option, especially at 186, if you have that kind of potential to get him here. So I like Daz Newsome, even though we did, just to remind you guys, we didn't take a wide receiver. I'm sorry. I thought we did. We didn't take a wide receiver. So Daz Newsome would be a really good pick here. Daz Newsome would be a very good pick as a wide receiver. So James points out, shout out to James, said Hawkins ran a wide zone at Louisville behind Becton at times. That is a good point. That is a really good point. So and again, with these later round picks, if these guys hit, that's great. That's gravy. We nailed the top of this draft. We killed it. We knocked it out of the park. This draft is already a home run. We got Wilson. We got Vera Tucker. We got Wyatt Davis. We got 2 linebackers, both that can play in coverage. Good corner. So that's a very good pick. Hawkins is definitely a good pick. So we do need a wide receiver here. Daz Newsome's a really good pick, unless you guys want to go with Tamorrion Terry or potentially Jonathan Adams Jr. That's the 3 guys I would choose from. Now, again, don't go by ranking. Jonathan Adams Jr. is an excellent pick here because Jonathan Adams Jr. at Arkansas State wasn't noticed very much. But this kid is unbelievably physical. Uses his body. He makes outstanding contested catches. I've literally seen him turn and make the catch with the corner running into him. He is going to be good at the next level. Not a speedy guy, but he's going to be a very good receiver. So that would be some good options here because, again, we still have 4 more picks on the board. So we got a running back. Let's do this. Let's get positional talent. That would be a great option now because we want positional guys. Now is the time to take some swings at the positional guys. So let's take Daz Newsome. We got 191 coming up. Trey McKitty's still on the board. So I would say, not a huge fan of the running backs. I would say let's take Trey McKitty. What do you guys think? I think McKitty would be a really good pick here. So, depending what you guys think, again, a lot of different options. I think McKitty would be a good pick here, doubling down, getting another tight end. Definitely couldn't hurt. So, let's do it. Let's take Trey McKitty. Good pick there. Now, what I would do is with the next position, maybe get another wide receiver, because I believe we still have another pick left to get a kicker. So maybe get a wide receiver here now, double down and get those, positional players, get positional talent. So James says it, go Dogs. Go Dogs, man. All right, so we're making our way through the picks. Chris Rumph is Tamorrion Terry just went off the board, so Terry's gone. Rumph is an underrated guy, guys. Underrated guy. Chris Rumph is on the smaller side, but this edge rusher, man, you watch him play, he bulls through the big linemen, and he's 235 pounds. This kid packs a punch, and because he's only 235, he's fast. He is very, very athletic. Okay, so we're on the board at 226. We have, let's see, we've gotten both our guards, so we're set there. We've gotten 2 corners, 2 linebackers. We've gotten 2 tight ends. Sorry, 3 cornerbacks, 2 tight ends, a running back, wide receiver. Well, I would say what we should do now is use 236 on a kicker. Let's see if Borregales is still available. So what I would do is I would say potentially either Dax Milne or Jonathan Adams Jr. I really like Jonathan Adams Jr., but again, Dax Milne, that was Zach Wilson's guy. When we watch a lot of the highlight film, it's Milne. So that could be a good option, either Dax Milne or Jonathan Adams Jr. Yeah, John says, I agree, man. Rumph would be a great pick. And Rumph's underappreciated. I've mentioned it to you guys, in the past. Too many people get caught up on measurables. People look at Rumph, they say, oh, that's a 235-pound edge rusher. Pass. He's not big enough. Watch the kid play. Frankie Louvu was only 236 pounds. He was pretty solid last year, and teams are excited to get him. So James says take Borregales. I think we can get Borregales with the next pick. I do think we can get him, but you know what? I also think we can get Jonathan Adams with the next pick too. So you know what? Let's do it. Let's take Borregales. So let's do it. Hip, hip, Jose. We got our kicker. And again, guys, we haven't had a kicker in a long time. We haven't had a kicker in a minute. So Dax Milne just went off the board. So Dax Milne just went to the Ravens. Understandable. What I would do right now, double down on that wide receiver, get Jonathan Adams Jr. Now, if we look at the best guy still available, I do like Alaric Jackson if you wanted to maybe get a sleeper offensive lineman. I do like Alaric Jackson a good amount. I also like Tommy Kramer a lot. Tommy Kramer, I really like. That kid is big. He can play guard or tackle at the next level. He is big and solid. So that would be a good option if you wanted to go offensive line. Or I'm thinking we double down and get another wide receiver. We get probably Jonathan Adams Jr. here would be what I would think we should do. Yep, John says take Adams. Let's do it. Let's take Adams. Let's do it. I'm with you, man. And like James says, kicker will score points that we've missed on for years. This isn't a hidden thing, It's not like it's right in front of us. We see it. Kicker has been a bleeding black hole, a horrible black hole. It's been terrible. We haven't had a good kicker in years, and they've cost us games. We have literally had games cost to us because of kickers. So it's going to be a breath of fresh air to finally have a reliable kicker. And talk about a reliable kicker. Jose Borregales, within 40-something yards, kid's like almost perfect. Within 40-something yards, I think he's only missed like 2, like a crazy number. So let's do it. Let's take Jonathan Adams, and I love it, man. This was a draft. This was a hell of a draft. I think we killed it, guys. I think we knocked it out of the freaking park. So we'll give it a sec to end. The draft ain't over yet, just about over. We killed it, guys. If Joe Douglas, like I said, everything beyond this is gravy, in my opinion. We walked away with our future Zach Wilson, and what are we doing right this time? We're protecting him. We're building in the trenches and giving him an offensive line. And we're doing that with the best guard available. Somehow, Vera Tucker fell to 23, and then we got Wyatt Davis to 34. You guys remember the argument I made was, and it's true, for the majority of the last college season, it was Vera Tucker and Wyatt Davis in the conversation as the two best guards in this draft. Well, you see it. We got them both. We got the two best guards in this draft. Love it, man. Just beautiful. Like James says, excellent draft. Like I'm telling you, everything after Wyatt is just gravy. But let's look at that gravy for a second. I was telling you guys, Aaron Robinson, Daniel Jeremiah had him as a first-round prospect for a while. He was considered a potential first-round pick. And I liked him a lot as a fifth-round guy, like a lot back in November. He's got everything you look for. The range, the size, all of it. Chaz Surratt, you guys know all about him. Him and Snowden are going to be probably plug-and-play coverage linebackers on day one. I would say that. Because, again, we're hoping Davis is going to be the guy. But if Surratt and Snowden come out of camp and they're freaking gangbusters, and like we know about them, they're flying all over the field because they're unbelievably athletic, they're unbelievably fast, but they're good in coverage, especially in zone with reading the quarterback, that could be definitely, the two of them could be starting. We could have Surratt and Snowden starting on day one, man, as our 4-3 outside linebackers. We got Paulson Adebo, another outside linebacker, another guy that can play outside, and another corner, Rodarius Williams. Either Rodarius Williams or Paulson Adebo should translate to about a CB2 at the next level. And Aaron Robinson has been said to be a CB1. So we're looking great right now, guys. Great. We got both linebackers that we needed, two coverage linebackers. We got three really good corners. And then after that, shout out to, James, because James made an excellent point. I want to go back up because he made a really good point about that. Getting Hawkins, that was Becton's guy for a little while. He enjoyed running behind Becton. So that could be a really good pick, getting Hawkins. Daz Newsome has the potential to be a slot or outside guy. Trey McKitty is a sleeper tight end, but we also got Quinnen Morris. Quinnen Morris has a lot of potential. Because he plays for Bowling Green, he doesn't get a lot of recognition or notice, but he should. He has a lot of receiving potential. So Quinnen Morris or Trey McKitty could be the guys. Then we got Borregales, and we got Jonathan Adams Jr. Guys, if you've seen Jonathan Adams Jr. play, he's what you want in a guy that you need to get, a couple of yards, guy to, turn around and make the quick catch with multiple guys on him, guy that's going to make red zone catches. That's the guy you want. So Jenny points it out. Nicely done. Hope we nail it for real on Thursday. This is it, guys. This is our last mock that we're going to do together before the draft. Because Thursday's it, man. Thursday, it starts. Now, to let you guys know, if you want to tune in, it's going to be fun. On Fridays, I don't know if you guys know, I do the Weapons Hot podcast. I'm one of the hosts with a bunch of other guys, CJ, Jimmy, and Kevin. Excellent guys. The four of us host Weapons Hot. We're going to be doing a live mock on draft day. So we're going to be live with you during the draft on Thursday and Friday. So we'll be there. I'll have to check about Friday. I believe we'll be there Friday, but we're definitely going to be there Thursday. We're going to be there with you for that first round. So live, if it's not live on Friday, I might do a live one. So we'll figure it out. If it's not live on Friday, maybe I'll do a live one. We'll see. But yeah, so check it out on Thursday. I'm going to be live at the not at the draft, but I'll be live with the four of them. We'll have the draft going. You know how I'm going to get nuts if they take Wilson. I'm going to get so excited. You're going to see legitimate, genuine, I'm going to go nuts. Draft day is my day, guys. Like, hey, you want to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to talk to you guys all about the prospects, all the guys I like. I'm going to talk about what other teams might do with their picks and talk about the potential of what we could do with the picks we have. So that's going to be really exciting. But again, guys, this is a killer draft. By trading back, just think about this for a second. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We drafted 14 people. 14 players were drafted in this draft. And positional wise, our quarterback of the future, 2 plug and play guards immediately, 3 cornerbacks, 2 linebackers, 2 tight ends, a running back, and 2 wide receivers, and a kicker. This is how you draft, guys. This is how you do it. I'm excited. So again, we're almost there. Thursday's the day, guys. Thursday's the day. And I don't see how it's not going to be Zach. Shout out to Kev, man. Like Kev says, I love Jamal, but this is better. Man, safety is an overrated position now, unfortunately. It's kind of like the running back position. It's the reason I'm happy with the committee we have. This is a pass-heavy league. You need a good offensive line, a good quarterback, good wide receivers, and complementary running backs. The safety is not the glamour position anymore. The safety, it's the corner position. The corners are the ones that all the glam and the glory and the fame. That's what it's at right now. Like Kev said, we really needed a kicker. We did. Dude, Borregales, check it out. Borregales is near perfect within like the 40. It's amazing. He is the best, easily the best kicker in this draft. So we killed it. This is an outstanding draft, guys. So remember, Thursday, we got the draft. I'm excited, man. Zach Wilson's going to be our guy. I'm hoping it's going to be Zach. But remember, whoever it is, we need to be behind him. A lot of Jet fans are torn between Zach Wilson and Justin Fields. Justin Fields or Zach Wilson. I personally, as you guys know, I think Trey Lance is a better option than Justin Fields. But whoever it is, whoever the pick is, Joe Douglas has done the due diligence. Joe Douglas has looked into it, researched these guys, done everything he needs to do. He knows what he wants. He knows what he wants to put in this system. Whoever we take it to is our quarterback. Our fate is their fate. So we got to get behind them. We can't. I know, Kev, I'm with you, man. Zach's my guy. You guys remember we talked at the beginning of the podcast? That's my boy. I've been high on Zach for a long time now. But if it's Justin, we got to get behind him. Whoever the pick is, that's going to be our guy. And that's going to be the guy that leads us. I do believe it's Zach. I would almost say I'm almost 100% sure it'll be Zach, but we'll have to see. I feel like it's going to be, but again, we'll have to see. So this was a killer draft, guys. If Vera Tucker falls to us on draft day, that's it. That's money. We take Vera Tucker right there. Creed Humphrey, remember, was gone. Remember, I pointed out, don't let these people fool you that Creed's not worth these picks. Creed Humphrey, for all the reasons I've mentioned to you, could go in the first round like he did to the Titans. If he's still on the board there and Vera Tucker's there, remember, I'm ready to trade up. I'm ready to package that 85, that 108, package it, come back and get Creed as well. So a lot of different options, a lot of different things we can do. I appreciate all you guys tuning in like always. Thank you for being here for the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. I had a pleasure. I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Love doing the mocks with you guys. It's been really, really fun doing the mocks over these last couple of weeks. I've got to talk to you guys about all my prospects. You guys know I do some pretty deep draft eval. I've been able to talk to you about the guys that I like, players that I prefer at certain picks. We've done some really amazing mocks. I honestly think all the mocks we've done are amazing. This might be one of the best ones yet. This really might be one of the best ones yet because, oh, you're welcome, my brother. You're welcome, Kevin. I appreciate you being there. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. But this might be the best one yet because we walked away with Vera Tucker and Davis and all this depth and ability, 3 corners, 2 linebackers. This is amazing. So Joe could do this. Remember, these mocks show this is definitely possible. Jenny's ready. She's excited. Much love to her Jets family. Can't wait. Man, I can't wait either. I am stoked. I really hope the pick is Zach Wilson. You guys know I want Zach more than anything. That's been my guy. He's going to be the one to lead us to the promised land. But whatever it is, this is our future. This is our future, and it's happening Thursday. No matter what, our future begins Thursday. So I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. I'm ready. Again, make sure to tune in. Check out the Weapons Hot podcast. You can find us on YouTube. We're going to be live during the draft. And again, I'm going to talk to you all about the Jets, the guys I like, the people I want to take. I'm also going to talk about with the other teams, who they might take at those picks, because I follow it as well. So again, I appreciate all you guys being here. Thank you again for tuning into the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. And my apology before I forget, tomorrow, I don't know if you guys saw, tomorrow we have a special guest. So we don't normally do a Tuesday show, but I'm doing a Tuesday show tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a special live Tuesday show. We're having in Richie from New York Jets Media. I'm excited, man. From New York Jets Media, Richie's going to be coming on. We're going to be talking all about the Jets, going to pick his brain about the picks he likes, what he wants to do, offense and defense, how he likes free agency. We're going to get into it. So tomorrow we have a special live broadcast. It's going to be at 5 p.m. Make sure to tune in, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you again for being here.